Today's the 25th of June, and I want to talk about some of the things I've learned about planting corn plots in this deer country. Today, we've got two things we're going to do on this little small plot that's down below the house here. One is going to be fencing it, putting an electric fence around it. It's a hot zone fencing system. And then I'm also going to show you a tip on how to keep the critters from wiping out the outside rows of your corn. And this is something I think that most people don't realize is even happening. I noticed it several years ago when I was out scouting one of my cornfields, and there was little holes all over the field and little small, 2-inch tall corn plants laying next to those holes, and they were bit off and laying there dead. And then I realized that the small critters, I think crows, mice, I know raccoons do it, I know chipmunks do it, they see that little spike of corn come out of the ground and it's like a flag to them. And they go over, they dig that up, and they eat the kernel. So the plant is living off that seed kernel for a while until it establishes its root structure and uses that kernel up. But in the early stages of the growth of that corn, it's living off that kernel. And these critters know that, and they see that little spike of corn stick up, and it's like a flag telling them where there's a kernel of corn. So they'll dig down, bite it off, chew up that kernel of corn, and then of course the plant is dead. So you get tons and tons of them. I mean, we've walked the edge of this plot already, and I'd say at least 75%, if not more, of all of the little spikes on the outside row have already been chewed off. The only thing that really works is to overload them with a bunch of free, easy to get corn seed. I've got shelled corn in the spreader on the back of the ATV. I'm going to drive around the outside edge, and especially in those areas where the deer or the critters have been digging up those corn plants the most, and just spread shelled corn on top of the ground. So they'll be digging, or they'll be eating the shelled corn, the easy to access corn, and not digging up the stuff that's underground. Anything you can do to keep them from digging up the stuff that you've planted. So that's going to be project number one here. And then after I get that done, we're going to build this hot zone fence and put it around the outside of this plot. These hot zone systems, they're reusable. So, it's a pretty good investment one time, and you should be able to use it for many, many years. I think this has been out 4 times. This is the 4th time. It's set in stages. They're separate lines. The wire's on the back, the ribbon's on the front, and for some reason the deer freak out when they see that and they don't jump over it. I don't know what goes on inside their heads, but that's some behavior that they have. Is for some reason they won't jump over this, and then they go in and put their nose on that tape and bammo, and then they stay away after that. That project took a little bit longer than I expected. I thought maybe a couple of hours, but the problem we had with this one, it was probably closer to 3 hours for 2 of us. When we put it away last time, we didn't do a very good job of rolling up the wire. So make sure that when you take it down, that you do a good job of rolling up the wire, so it'll be a lot easier to unroll it next time you put it out.